Hi, Assalamualaikum. It's biology time with me, teacher Adrena. How do you feel today? Good or bad? I hope you are doing fine. And I hope you are happy always with your loved one. Before we start our lesson today, I will read one quote from Mahatma Gandhi. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. So, you don't stop learning, okay? Learn as much as you can, as you will live forever. Next, let's take a look at the picture and think together. So here is the picture of the door. What do you think the relation between the door and the chapter that we will learn today? What is the function of the door? I can't hear you. Okay, the function of the door is to let someone in and out of the building, such as house, office, classroom, and you know what? Every building must have door. Do you get any ideas? No? It's okay. So the topic that we will learn today is a topic from chapter 3, which is the movement of substances across the plasma membrane. So at the end of the lesson, students should be able to justify the necessity of the movement of substances across the plasma membrane. Next, student able to describe the components of a plasma membrane and its function based on the fluid multimodal. Third, student able to draw and label the components of the plasma membrane based on the fluid multimodal. And lastly, student able to describe the permeability of plasma membrane. I want to ask you, do you remember the picture of the door that I am showing to you just now? The answer is here in the video. But where is the video? In the next slide. Enjoy watching!
The cell membrane is represented by the doors, because the cell membrane is a semi-permeable membrane that regulates what moves in and out of the cell.
The door controlling someone in and out of the building. Same goes to plasma membrane. It controlling substances in and out of the cell. Without door, anything can enter the building and could ever damage your building belonging. And same goes to cell. Without membrane plasma, it could damage your cell. That's how it's related. When you look at the plasma membrane, remember it's the door of the cell. So let's move to the topic 3.1, which is the structure of plasma membrane. Before that, I want you to know about the plasma membrane. As you have learned in the previous chapter in cell structure, it already mentioned the function of the plasma membrane. Here I just want to recall the function and enhance your understanding about the plasma membrane. So plasma membrane located surround the cell. As you can see in the picture below, there are plant and animal cell. Plasma membrane located outer layer of the cell, but a bit different from plant cell. It consists of cell wall. Hence, the plasma membrane is not the outer layer, but is the layer after the cell wall. So the function of the plasma membrane is to control the movement of substances in and out of the cell. It allows needed or necessary substances to enter and subproduct to leave the cell, while preventing entrance of harmful material and exit essential material. It also considering protecting the cell as well. So next we will move to the necessity of movement of substance across the plasma membrane. So do you think it is crucial or not that these substances are enter into our body? The answer is very crucial because it is a process in life. So the movement of substances in and out of the cell is aimed at maintaining the living process. It is also important for us to know that there is waste from metabolic processes that occur in the cell. So the cell does not need that thing anymore and wants to throw it out of the cell. So all the movement in and out goes to the plasma membrane. So damage to the plasma membrane will impact the cell. When the plasma membrane ruptures, Solutes from outside will enter and might damage the cell organelle, resulting in cell death. The cell would be destroyed if it could not longer sustain itself. If the door of your house is broken, the thief could enter your house and damage your property, right? So when the plasma membrane less effectively function, it could allow harmful substances and may cause damage to your cell. That's how it's related to the real life. Next is the structure of the plasma membrane. Okay, now let's first overview what components are in the plasma membrane. So, there are phospholipid bilayers, glycolipid, glycoproteins, chain proteins, carrier proteins, and cholesterol. Each plays an important role in the process of controlling the movement of material in and out of the cell. So, the structure found in phospholipid bilayer is hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. Why is it called a bilayer? Because it has two layers, up and down. The upper layer faces the extracellular fluid, meanwhile the lower layer faces the cytoplasm. What is the difference in characteristic between hydrophilic and hydrophobic? So, hydrophilic is said to be water-loving, like and love water so much. When you love someone, you will attract to them. Same goes to hydrophilic head. Love water and attract to water. So, when it likes water, it must be soluble in water. But it do not like lipid, so it cannot soluble in lipid. It also categorized as polar. As for hydrophobic, it's water-faring, which is very afraid of water. It doesn't dissolve in water, and it could dissolve in lipid. It is categorized under non-polar. So that's the difference. Okay, there are several types of proteins that are embedded within the membrane, fully or partially. The protein is widely dispersed between phospholipid bilayers. So we will learn about these two proteins first in today's subtopic, which are carrier protein and chain protein. Here is the clear figure below of where this protein is widely dispersed on the plasma membrane. The round blue line are protein. Okay, next, let's differentiate between chain protein and carrier protein. Based on the appearance of the level in the diagrams, we can easily distinguish which is a carrier protein and which is a channel protein. Channel protein, as you can see, there are channel passage or lane to allow on small molecule and ion to pass in and out of the plasma membrane. Next, the carrier protein is responsible for bringing large molecule in and out of the plasma membrane. So below is the difference. Channel protein transport molecules or small molecules and ion, go down the concentration gradient, open the center, and can be gated. Meanwhile, carrier protein transport large molecule down and up the concentration gradient and change their shape to allow molecule to pass through the membrane. Next, we have proteins and lipids, which are attached to the carbohydrate chains. Okay, carbohydrate chains that attach to lipid we known as glycolipid. Meanwhile, carbohydrate chain that attach to protein we known as glycoprotein. Both of the functions are the same. They act as a receptor to hormone. For example, insulin. It stabilizes the membrane by forming hydrogen bond with water molecules and function as such antigens for cell identification. Next, there is another lipid known as cholesterol. The function of cholesterol plays an important role in increasing the stronger and flexibility of the plasma membrane. It is also less permeable to water-soluble substances such as ion. So now, let's take a look at the video of the movement, how the substance move in and out of the plasma membrane in the next slide. Have you done watching the video? I guess you are done. The video shows on how the substances from extracellular enter the cell through the cell membrane and vice versa. That's how the movement occurs. Okay, it's almost over. Just a little bit more here. Permeability of the plasma membrane. Okay, let me first explain the definition of permeable and impermeable. Permeable, a substance that can pass freely through the plasma membrane. Meanwhile, impermeable substances are unable to pass freely or unable to pass the plasma membrane at all. Some molecules cannot pass through the plasma membrane, but with the help of carrier protein or channel protein, they can pass through it. So, I want to ask you, what do you think the permeability of the plasma membrane? The plasma membrane is selective permeable. It is because the plasma membrane only allows certain substances to move freely through it. Other substances may need help from the protein to pass through it, or it cannot pass at all. It chooses to release any one or not. The phospholipid bilayer and protein function to determine the membrane permeability towards specific substances. So in conclusion, what you have learned today? So we have learned about what is plasma membrane, where is it located, the function of the plasma membrane, to allow substances move in and out of the cell, and every component of the plasma membrane has their own function, which is firstly the protein channel and protein carrier helps the substances that are unable to move freely through it, and the glycoprotein, glycolipid act as antigen for cell identification, cholesterol act as to strengthen the phospholipid bilayer, and also the hydrophilic heat, hydrophobic tail, which is love water and hate water, and that's it we have learned today. So as you already know that plasma membrane permeability is selective permeable because it allows some substances and don't allow substances. It select the substance that they want to allow and they do not want. So I think that's all for today's topic, which is movement substances across the plasma membrane. But don't be happy yet because I have homework for you. Let's scan this QR code. I want to test your understanding of what we have learned today. So happy answering, my dear student. Thank you all. Oh, before that, do you understand what I'm teaching you about? If you have any question regarding this topic, you may contact me. Okay, thank you. Bye.